Hey people, it's nice talking. It's been a while since I've done a history vid, so I'm gonna do one. This is from Face to Face Africa. And just in case someone is seeing this on Black Junction TV, if you see ads on the videos, please just click on them. It helps the content creators get paid. So here goes, the tragic and resilient story of Igbo slaves who committed mass suicide off the US coast in 1803. The stories of slave resistance many of us know have to do with bloodshed, violence, and destruction. But there are other acts of resistance whose stories are worth being told. Sorry folks, I'm a bit tired. Take that of the Igbo landing, also called the Igbo landing or Igbo's landing. The Igbo landing is a historic site at Dunbar Creek on St. Simon's Island, Glynn County, Georgia. It is the site of one of the largest mass suicides of enslaved people in history. Historians say Igbo captives from modern-day Nigeria, purchased for an average of $100 each by slave merchants John Cooper and Thomas Spaulding, arrived in Savannah, Georgia on the slave ship The Wanderer in 1803. The chained slaves were then reloaded and packed onto the deck of a coastal vessel, the York, which would take them to St. Simon's, where they were to be resold. During the voyage, approximately 75 Igbo slaves rose in rebellion. They drowned their captors and caused the grounding of the ship in Dunbar Creek. The Igbo were known by planters and slave owners in the American South to be fiercely independent and more resistant to chattel slavery. According to Professor Terry L. Snyder, the then slave cargo suffered by mismanagement rose from their confinement in a small vessel and revolted against the crew, forcing them into the water where they drowned. Led by their chief, the Africans then marched ashore singing. Their chief's direction, they walked into the marshy waters of Dunbar Creek, committing mass suicide. Roswell King, a white overseer on a nearby plantation called Pierce Butler Plantation, is the first to have recorded the incident. He and another man, identified only as Captain Patterson, recovered 13 bodies. The others remain missing, and some are believed to have survived the suicide episode. For centuries, some historians have cast doubt on the event, suggesting that the entire incident was more folklore than fact, but a post-1980 research verified the accounts Roswell King and others provided at the time, using modern scientific techniques to reconstruct the episode and confirm the factual basis of the long-standing oral accounts. The site was designated as holy ground by the St. Simon's African community in September 2012. The Igbo landing is now part of the curriculum for coastal Georgia schools. The Igbo landing has come to occupy great symbolic importance in local African-American folklore. The mutiny and subsequent suicide by the Igbo people have been called the first freedom march in the history of the United States. And local people claim that the landing and surrounding marshes in Dunbar Creek were haunted by the souls of the dead Igbo slaves. There are myths of the water-walking Africans. Heard about the Igbo landing? That's the place where they bring the Igbos over in a slave ship, and when they get here, they ain't like it, and so they all start singing, and they march right down in the river to march back to Africa, but they ain't able to get there. They get drowned, one Floyd White, an elderly African-American interviewed by the Federal Writers Project in 1930 said. This is also the myth of the flying Africans, where people report that the Igbos flew to Africa. Wallace Quarterman, an African-American born in 1844, was interviewed in 1930 about the Igbo landing, said, "Ain't you heard about them?" Well, at the time, Mr. Blue, he was the overseer, and Mr. Blue, he got down one morning, a long whip to whip them for good, and he whipped them good, and they got stuck, and they got together and stuck their hoe in the field, and then rose up in the sky and turned themselves into buzzards and flew right back to Africa. Everyone knows about them. So powerful is this story of resistance that is often referred to in African-American literature. Writer Alex Haley recounts it in his acclaimed book Roots, and it was the basis for Nobel laureate Toni Morrison's novel Song of Solomon. Visual artists have also paid tribute to the Igbo who endured this event. Below is Jamaican artist Donovan Nelson's illustration paying tribute to the event. They are on display at the Valentine Museum of Art. I'll see if I can put these up in the video. Contemporary artists like Beyonce have also depicted and paid homage to the Igbo landing in their work. In the recently wildly acclaimed Marvel comic book film Black Panther, Killmonger, played by actor Michael B. Jordan, references this event, saying, "Bury me in the ocean with my ancestors who jumped from ships because they knew death was better than bondage." Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this story. Please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Comment, rate, share, and subscribe. I'll leave my Instagram in the description. I'll leave the source in the description so you can read up on it, and maybe a few more if I can find them. And I'll leave the GoFundMe in the description if you want to contribute to that. Peace, family.